Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the future of chemical engineering. We congratulate the nominees and award recipients today and thank their families, friends, and the faculty for their support. Success is not an individual endeavor. It takes a lot of support from the people that care about you and love you. And neither is this banquet an individual endeavor. So I would like to thank my colleagues who made this evening possible. Not all of them were able to join us, but I would like to ask those of us that are here to let me recognize them. But it goes, I could not possibly start this event without a real strong thanks to Megan Argo of the University of Delaware, who worked miracles, and certainly the department and Brady Lenoff were very appreciative. Let me thank Nick Martin, the co-chair for the event. Nick, where are you? There you go. Sue Schultz and Sydney Biddle, who chair the Outstanding Faculty Award Committee, and Sue that does the plaque. Sydney, you want to say hi? Daniel Suho and his co-chair Peter Schwabenberg, who led the Zeisberg Report Awards team of David Hagan, Laura Chin, Alan Levy, and Sam Winterberg. Sam, I know you're here. Peter. These are the people that make the trains run on time for this event. Backspace is touching. The American Institute of Chemical Engineers strives to be the link between academia and industry. As a professional organization, it is important its role in shaping the future of the profession. Both universities and industry educate future engineers. At universities, students get their foundation in general education, technical competence, and infrastructure skills like communications, teamwork, and lifelong learning. Industries take young professionals and complete their education in the context of their specific products and businesses. It is a synergistic partnership, and that synergy is critical for the development of global future leaders who can thrive among the technical challenges and are strong contributors, not just to the profession, but to their communities. We are here today as part of that effort to recognize the hard work and accomplishments of our students and to celebrate our future leaders and the profession. And we start this evening with our speaker, a young leader in the profession, Tyler Roberts, and it's my great pleasure to introduce him to you today. Tyler is winner of the 2017 AIChE DVS Scholarship for Technical Writing on Sustainability and the Environment, sponsored this year by the FMC Corporation, and awarded at our executive dinner at the Union League in Philadelphia on March 29th. He is a junior at the University of Delaware and an inspiring young man. He has minors in sustainable energy, material science, history, and political science. Tyler is an active member of the UD AIChE student chapter. As its professional chair, he's responsible for industry tours and faculty luncheons. He's also the international regional liaison for the national AIChE, coordinating monthly Skype meetings with chapters in Lebanon, Turkey, and Kazakhstan. At UD, Tyler is a Blue Hen ambassador at the Office of Admissions, and he's recently back from the UD Alternative Spring Break trip to West Virginia, and we are going to be hearing about that today. Tyler has published his work on solar cells, and his senior thesis is on phosphate adsorption. He has interned for AIChE Air Products and will be interning with SABIC this summer. Tyler is from King of Prussia, where he is a youth soccer referee and an avid Philadelphia sports fan, he tells me. He enjoys geocaching, and I'm asking him to teach me those apps as soon as we're done with this dinner, and sailing. He especially asked me to acknowledge his very supportive parents, Kathy and Jim Roberts, and Kyle, who Tyler says is the best younger brother anyone could ask for. Although I think it may very well be that Kyle may have the best older brother anybody could ask for. Mr. and Mrs. Roberts, your son is an admirable young man. Tyler personifies the idea that as engineers, everything we do and every pound of everything we make has societal impact and makes a difference. And we are so very fortunate that we will be hearing from him today. Tyler.
Appreciate it. Alrighty, so I got to get all this stuff set up here. Let's see. Okay. Well, the paper that I'm supposed to be reading off of is on the laptop. Might be sliding a little bit, so we'll make do. But Dr. Gephardt, where'd you go? There you are. Thank you again for the congratulations. I really appreciate it. Thank you for helping set all of this up and for emailing me back and forth, being very understanding when I was in West Virginia and couldn't answer the emails. And then in terms of Giselle, thank you for all that you do with DVS, and thank you for helping set up such a great event. And then in terms of tonight, making all of this possible, again, Megan Argo and Nick Martin, they do all the things that make our department possible. Megan sends tons of emails to all of us every day. Internship opportunities, course scheduling, you name it, she has us as undergrads. Then Nick, thank you again for being a great ex-president of our AIChE chapter and for continuing being a member of our department. So if we could all give them a round of applause tonight, I'd really appreciate it. And so to all the AIChE DVS members here tonight, thank you for your ever-growing support and engagement with our chapter. You guys have helped attend our general body meetings, organize volunteer work, and help to set up industry tours. So thank you for that. And then to the professors and students of my own department here tonight, thank you for being here and congratulations on your accomplishments. Harrison, where are you? Over there. Your work with student organizations on campus, so many of them, is really inspiring, so great job with that. And then Victoria, thank you for being a role model to so many people and also for being such a caring friend. And then Jack, you're a great president of AIChE, and I'm wishing you all the best of luck at your graduation. And then in terms of our professors here tonight, Dr. Enzer, thank you for really making all of us students look forward to coming to class every day and also for being a great faculty advisor. Megan, I already mentioned you, but thank you again for all that you do. I really do appreciate it. Dr. Butchery, thank you for helping me come up with ideas for this speech. Thank you for also being a role model in terms of chemical engineers and really being involved internationally with all the things that we can do. It's really inspiring to see your work with South Africa, India, all these countries. Every time we talk, it's a new country, and I really do appreciate learning about your experiences. And then Dr. Lenhoff, what can I say? It's really neat that I can walk into the department chair's office and just have a casual conversation about life and not have to worry about you pausing me, saying, you know, I'm really busy, so I do appreciate that. And then for inspiring us in our intro chemical engineering course, I know those of us who are here tonight who are in your course are really inspired, and thank you for teaching us to stick through it, even though, you know, sometimes there's a little bit of hard work in between, so thank you again. And so to all the students and faculty award recipients here tonight, again, congratulations. You'll be hearing it throughout the night, but it is really inspiring to see everybody here from a ton of different universities, so congratulations. For those of you from Villanova, I'm only 5 minutes away. That's where I live, so I know campus pretty well. Maybe we can talk. We probably have some mutual friends there. And then for those of you attending Widener, I know I talked to some of you earlier, but give me some more pointers later on tonight about my brother who's thinking about going to Widener. We'll see. He might go to Widener, might go to Delaware. You never know. And then to all the Drexel Dragons out there, my dad's an alum, and so it'd be really nice for him to hear what's new on campus. So maybe talk to him. And then for all the Penn Quakers out there, I know that I have a bunch of mutual friends that we might have in common, so maybe we could talk afterwards and hear all about your experiences at Penn. And then also to Rowan, congratulations on throwing such a huge student regional conference. I know we hosted last year and had a great time with it, and so I heard great things about it, so congratulations on that. And then I want to give one more shout out to my mom and dad, Kathy and Jim, who are here tonight. Thank you for all of your support throughout the years, dealing with all of my struggles with chemical engineering and just in life in general. So thank you. And then I know Kyle couldn't be here tonight, but tell him how proud I am of him with his baseball game tonight, but then also in general. So thank you. And then let's see what else. And so before I start, I guess I have to figure out how to get the PowerPoint up. Megan. I realized I started without having the PowerPoint up, so let's see what's happening. Should be good. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Alrighty. So, as Dr. Gephardt may have mentioned, I'll be sharing with you tonight some of my experiences on a service trip to West Virginia and how those will connect to energy conservation in the chemical industry, which was the topic of my essay. And so I'd like to share how my experiences open my own eyes to how alike we all are, regardless of our own circumstances and geographical location. And I would also like to begin to show you how your decisions as chemical engineers have consequences far beyond the confines of your classroom or company. I hope you'll see how energy conservation efforts can bring entire regions of people out of poverty and despair and into good health, financial security, and family stability. And so University of Delaware Alternative Spring Breaks, UDAB for short, is a student-run, student-led organization that sends out a variety of issue-based service learning experiences during spring and winter breaks. This spring break, UDAB sent over 20 trips with 600 students from UD all across America to work on various service projects. Students worked to improve the lives of children and families dealing with autism. They assisted elderly people, rebuilt homes ravaged by natural disasters, listened to the survivors of domestic violence, empowered young women, aided in wetland restoration, assisted elderly people, and rebuilt homes in order to eliminate poverty and homelessness. And so after a thorough application and interview process in the fall, I was lucky enough to be selected to the West Virginia trip to eliminate poverty and homelessness by rebuilding houses. In the months leading up, 20 students on my trip met weekly in order to bond together through icebreaker activities, but also to learn about the region that we would be dealing with. And so our site leaders, Margaret and Jack, who I wish they could be here tonight, they weren't able to make it, were some of the best site leaders because they really prepared us for what we were going to encounter down there in West Virginia. And so we learned about the organization that we would be working with, the AIChE Service Project. So you might think I misspoke, but Appalachia is actually how they say it down there. And so I grew up learning it's Appalachia, Appalachian Mountains. It's Appalachia, Appalachian Mountains. So if you ever go to that region, you might want to be a little bit aware and try out Appalachia instead of Appalachia. And so to give you some perspective, the University of Delaware is located, sorry about that. University of Delaware is located at that tiny star up top on the right. And then where we were going, the Guyan Valley is all the way down there at the bottom of West Virginia. And so when I told my friends where I was going for spring break, not to an island, anything like that, I just told them I'm going to the bottom of West Virginia. And then to give you a little bit more specifics where we were going, the AIChE Service Project is the base location where we were staying and got all of our supplies for each day. And then the Morgan Family Home is the house that we were working on throughout the week. To give you some perspective, the population of Wyoming County is 23,000 people, and the per capita income is $17,000. $17,000. To give you some perspective, here in Newark, Delaware, the per capita income is $24,000. And so, on Monday morning, all 20 of us got into our UDAB t-shirts, and we were all very excited to start doing some service work. You can tell the t-shirts do not have any dirt on them, but throughout the week and throughout the day, when we all came back in the afternoon, you could see who worked the hardest that day because all of our t-shirts and clothes were very dirty. And so on Monday morning, when the team of 6 of us, we were split into 3 groups, the team of 6 of us drove down a couple roads, made a few left turns. There was a lot of 2-lane roads that really should have only been 1 lane. They were very narrow. It's West Virginia, things happen. So we eventually made it to the Morgan Family Home, and this is the family home. And so this is pretty much typical of what you'll see in Appalachia. This is what we saw on our way down to the region. It's a single-story flat, may or may not be a trailer home. And so this is what we walked up to. As soon as we got there, the family was already outside waving and welcoming us into their home. And so here is a group of us also with the family members. So at the top there is Sandy, she's the grandmother, and then we have Mike and Whitney. And so Sandy and Mike are the grandmother and grandfather of Whitney. Whitney is in 6th grade, and we came to learn quite a bit about her gymnastics prowess and education. She's very smart. Mike used to work in the coal mines, but after a series of accidents, he was forced to retire and go on Medicaid. And then her grandmother, Sandy, loves Whitney more than anything in the world, and it was really truly inspiring to see how much she loved her. And then Whitney's mom, who also happens to be Sandy, it's very confusing throughout the week. She is not pictured here, but she is a single mother, and she does everything for Whitney. She only reads at a 7th grade reading level, and their family income is $700 a month. And so our projects for the week are pictured here. In the top left is my friend Sam, and he's pointing to all the drywalling that we have to do on the front door. The top right is Whitney's room, and that needed to be painted to match the room color of her bedroom. And then in the bottom 2 pictures is Mom Sandy's bedroom that is being refurbished, and so we were to do a lot of drywalling, spackling, priming, lots of sanding, painting, and eventually floor laying. And so, as you can see in the left picture, that's my drawing. It's a little bad, but that's how we were trying to plan out the drywalling, and you could tell we got a little bit dirty. Everybody wanted a chance at the screwdriver, and so we all did that for the drywalling. And then you can see the girls in our group had a lot of fun sanding. Let me tell you, sanding is not that fun if you haven't done it in the past, but it's all good. And then in terms of the drywalling, none of us had construction experience, so going in there we only had a construction manual. But what we were able to do as engineers is we get it done one way or another, did some drawings, figured it out, hung it up, had to take it down a couple times, make a few cuts here and there, but as long as it looks good in the end, that's all that matters, right? So as soon as we got there that afternoon, we were really welcomed into the family. Now, Whitney was off at school, and so that didn't hinder the family, Mike and Sandy, Grandma Sandy, from showing us parts of their family. So Mike is an avid hunter, and he was showing us some of the antlers that he found right in their backyard. And then Grandma Sandy right there, you might be able to see it. She's holding a couple pictures, and the picture's actually of Mike's grandmother, who's holding a steak and then also a snake. And the long story short, and without the graphic details, is that there are lots of snakes underneath their house, and so Mike got his shotgun and took care of the snake. And so I know that's just one of the crazy stories that we heard down there, but our by far favorite time of each day was spending an hour at lunch with Sandy. And so Sandy reminds me very much of my own grandmother, in that she can talk and talk and talk and tell stories about anything to anyone during a casual conversation. And so she would tell us some of the most amazing stories, and especially some of the most sad stories that you can imagine. And she said it so nonchalantly. It was somewhat interesting, also a little sad to see. And so her willingness to open up and tell her own stories really made us willing to open up ourselves and connect with her. And so Grandma Sandy told us about the rundown house right across the street that used to be for the coal miners. And so she said the coal miners came in and, as we all know, made lots of money before eventually closing down and leaving thousands in the region unemployed. She explained how jobs are extremely difficult to come by in the region, and that schools, the largest employers in the region, are even making cuts to their own students. People have turned to selling drugs, Oxycontin specifically, to make a living, and alcoholism is rampant. And these have torn families apart, and the Morgan family knows plenty of people, family and friends, whose lives have been ravaged by drugs, alcohol, and poverty. And so the rivers are contaminated from the coal mines, but also due to the region's lack of sewage systems. And so many family homes, including the Morgan family's own home, feed directly into the river. So all that sewage drops underneath the house or floats, goes through a pipe and goes directly into the river. So when we got to the AIChE Service Project facility where we were staying, there's a river in the backyard. That's what you see in the top left. and they said, please don't go in the river. And we didn't. But also the county is so dispersed that the bus drivers take the buses home with them after school. There's no common meeting location. The county is so spread out. That's what you see in the bottom left picture there. That's just a casual bus right there outside that family home. And then the most heart-wrenching story of them all was Mom Sandy resorts to selling puppies in order to buy her daughter Whitney clothes. And it was clear from the beginning that, and it became even more evident as the week went on, that Whitney literally means everything to her family. At lunch, Grandma Sandy would tell us stories about Whitney, and she would always have this glow about her when she talked. Whitney is a very good student, evidently, and has even received a letter from Harvard telling her to keep up the good work. Be mindful she's only in 6th grade. For someone like Whitney, who is from an area like Appalachia, going to college is often only a dream. While most people tend to graduate high school, they usually don't go on to college, and it's really hard in these days to find jobs, and so it's really tough to even say what they do. We also learned of Whitney's really keen passion for gymnastics. Her grandmother, Sandy, was very excited to show us lots of videos of her doing somersaults, tucks, and lots of other moves that you see in the Olympics. And for those of you gymnastics fans out there, I don't remember what she said in terms of her moves, but they seem very impressive. And Whitney is well beyond her age group in terms of her gymnastics skills. And so we hung out with the family every day. We would have lunch with Grandma Sandy, and then we would recap at the end of the day, what did we need to do for the next day. And by the end of the week, on Friday, we realized that we had a lot of different tasks, a lot of odds and ends to wrap up. And so Mike and Sandy helped us out. It was really great. Mike showed everyone how to use the circular saw. Everybody got a shot at that. Nobody cut their fingers off, so that was good. And then Mike even helped with floor laying. He has bad knees and needs surgery, but he helped us lay floors. And then Grandma Sandy even got a little bit dirty with the paintbrush and paint rollers. The girls here, Erin and Kristen, told me that Sandy was able to help out for a few minutes, but then already had paint on her. She asked if she was done for the day, and we said, that's fine. Thank you for your help. And so on Friday, we completed all the tasks that we really wanted to achieve for the week. So as a reminder, this is what we looked like before, the rooms looked like before. And then, if it switches over, this is what the rooms look like after. So where Sam was standing in the top left earlier, we got all that drywalling done, spackling, priming, and painting. Whitney's room matched the color of her bedroom. And then Mom Sandy's bedroom looks pretty much brand new. The flooring really makes it look good, and you can tell in the bottom left picture, we just need that closet to be finished up, which another group will be able to help out with. And so it was really nice to be able to leave them with a very clean home that Mom Sandy especially would be able to move her bedding into the room and hopefully be able to have a little bit more of an opportunity to spend that time, share that room with Whitney. And so as our group reflected on our experiences with Sandy, Mike, and Whitney, we all came to the same conclusion that we were so lucky to meet 3 generations of a family and learn about the challenges faced by each along the way. As a proud grandmother, Sandy brightened all of our days when she talked about Whitney. Mike clearly holds the family together with his strength and quite surprisingly funny humor. And Mom Sandy's desire to make a better life for Whitney was truly heartwarming. And Whitney, the star of the entire family, who cried when her mom told her she had to go to school, even when she wanted to stay and hang out with us during the day, gave us all hope for the family and also for the entire region of Appalachia. And so the night before we left, our UW trip leaders asked each of us how we could help the families moving forward and the region of Appalachia altogether. I wasn't able to come up with a good answer that night, but as I thought more and more about it, I eventually came to the conclusion that we can help Whitney and her family not by sending all of the money in the world, but by staying in touch and sending our love, and making changes in our own daily lives that could eventually help them down the road. And so what changes am I talking about? Energy conservation. And so reduce, reuse, recycle, the old saying goes, it still holds true today. In chemical engineering, as a profession, if we waste less and save more, the environmental and financial savings generated can be used to develop new technologies that can remediate the contaminated Appalachian rivers that we saw there. We can make capital investments in the region with small towns that have not seen industry since the coal barons left. New energy technologies such as solar and wind could bring natural resources to a region who does not have many resources as it is. And then with new companies comes new people and new ideas, and for a region that has been stagnant for many decades, this would be a huge change. With these companies comes better opportunities for higher education, and hopefully many more girls and boys like Whitney can eventually become engaged in college and go on to do great things. And so in general, at greater prosperity comes greater investment in the region. And at the end of the day, what we all want is we want food, clean water, a roof over our heads, and a loving family. And our UW service trip worked to keep the good, strong roof above the Morgan family home, and so that they could continue to enjoy time together and meals together. And this is an opportunity that tragically is not available for many people in the Appalachian region. And so I realize that many of you might not get the chance to visit the Appalachian region anytime soon, but I urge you to make changes in your own daily life that could be used, that could conserve energy, which could then be used for bigger and better things for the region of Appalachia in general. So let the Morgan family inspire you and be a constant reminder that when push comes to shove, we all treasure family equally, regardless of the situation in which we live. If you can remind yourself every day to think, what have I done today that has helped others? You are well on your way to making the world a better place. And for those of you who may feel like you do not have the power to change the story of the people of Appalachia or the story of your own family, I would like to quote our famous alumnus, Joe Biden. If you don't like the way things are, get off your rear end and change it. I know you all and will change the world. And so thank you again for your time tonight. And again, congratulations to all of the award recipients. Thank you.